I want to welcome everybody. My name's Scott Kilgallen, Director of Athletics. I do want to, before I introduce the Chancellor, to say a few words. I do want to throw out a call out to my staff. We're going to hear a lot of great things by our alum, and I hope they're proud of what we've been accomplishing as well. I've got a very hard-working staff, and I like to call it the total package. We wound up 14th in the country out of 450 Division III institutions in the Directors' Cup, which is based on advancement to the NCAA tournament, of which we had 13 of our teams make it to the NCAA tournament. Secondly, with the grade point average of our student athletes, for only the second time in school history, in the last 2 years in a row, we received the WIAC Scholar Athlete Award, and that's when the GPA of the student athletes is higher than the general student body. And we had a 3.147, and that's a great accomplishment because our general student body here at the university is always over 3.0. We had 364 student athletes with a 3.0 or higher, and of course they do a lot of work with community service, so I want to thank the staff for their work with that. Special people everybody's special in the audience, but we really appreciate the Chancellor taking his time out of his busy schedule, and he'll be up to speak in a moment. And his wife, Debbie. Debbie, if you just raise your hand, be great. Yep. Vice Chancellor Beth Helwig. Yep. My wife, Jane LaPointe Kilgallen. Thanks, Jane. And John Bachmeyer, alumni. John, raise your hand. I want to thank you as well. Great evening, and I'd like to invite our Chancellor up to speak with us for a few moments.
Thank you, Scott, and welcome everyone to this beautiful day, a beautiful evening here to celebrate the incredible talent we have assembled here in the room. Talent in a variety of ways. As Scott said, we have an incredible talent on our coaching staff and in our athletics program. And to me, athletics is an extension of the university's educational mission. We talk a lot these days about high-impact practices in education. Things like study abroad, immersion in a different culture, community service and service learning. I put athletics right alongside that, and most of our deans do as well, because it is all of those things. It's an immersion, it teaches team building, our students are exposed to different cultural venues when they travel, and we love to hear the stories, that many of which we'll hear tonight, of how that's helped them be successful not only in athletics, but in their lives as well. So it's always a fun night to hear about the successes that so many have had. And of course, those high impact practice, I didn't mean as, there was a little more high impact on the football field this morning than we maybe intended on some of those high impact practices. But again, a great day. I started the day at least with a bike ride. We had about 50 of our faculty and students out celebrating Moving Earth Day, raising awareness on the environment, and showing our new students that you can get around Eau Claire pretty nicely on a bicycle, and the farmers market and the park is really close to campus if you can get on a bike and do that. And then got to see a great football game with a great finish, and now get to listen to some wonderful stories tonight. So thank you all for being here, and congratulations to all of our awardees. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. And I see Coach Glazer out there as well. Well done today with the football game. Great win for those of us that got to witness that. I'd also like to recognize our Hall of Famers. Currently, if you could stand when I say your name. Mary Merrow, gymnastics and diving coach. And Mary, thanks for your help with this event as well. Kenny Anderson, basketball coach. Jerry Burseth, football, and Jerry, I don't believe, is here with us tonight. Dennis Blunk, basketball. Gino Golden, football. Tom Pryor, swim coach. Robert Scott, tennis coach. Joan Bachmeyer, who will take a minute here. Basketball, tennis, and softball. Joan. Steve Kurtz, student athlete, coach, athletics director, and faculty athletics director. Roger Hedrington, football. Carrie Osborne, football. Tim Peterman, sports information director and administrator. And Ron Parks, baseball. Great. Thank you very much. We'd like now to get into the awards, and I'd like to invite all our scholarship award winners to come up to the podium, please. Okay, just a note here, I know with NCAA rules, compliance is everything. All of these student athletes have exhausted their eligibility, so they will be getting a scholarship. There'll be no violations here. So they will get those checks a little bit later from our office. The first one is the Frank and Jerry Rigglesworth Scholarship for a male or female golfer with a 3.0 GPA, named for longtime Blugold golf coach Frank Rigglesworth and his wife Jerry. Lauren Chernus cannot make it here tonight, as Sarah Hansen could not as well. We had two winners, but Lauren is a kinesiology major and accounting minor who will graduate next spring. He's a walk-on, and he was the most improved junior year and team co-MVP his senior year. And Sarah Hansen, currently a third grade teacher at Roosevelt Elementary in Eau Claire, who is returning to work on her master's degree in special ed. She was a member of the Blugold squad from 2003 to 2008, playing in the national tournament her senior year, where she was also named the Conference Scholar Athlete for women's golf. We want to congratulate Sarah and Lauren. And we're also proud with the Bill and Virginia Zorn Scholarship for any student athlete with financial need, named after Bill Zorn, who was the men's basketball coach for 40 years, in addition to stints as head football coach and director of athletics and dean of students. And we're happy to have Brett Schreiner receive this award. And Brett actually just broke away. He's going for his MBA with us here. He's interning in my office, working with the football team. Coach Glazer gave him a half hour out of cutting film for next week's game, so he was able to make it here. But really proud of Brett as well, and we wish him luck as he completes his master's in business. So. In addition, we have Karina Sager, who's not with us this evening, a nursing major who will graduate next spring, a track All-American on several Blugold relay teams, who was also the Conference Scholar Athlete for track in 2010. Congratulations to Brett and Karina. Our next award is the Stuffy Culver Scholarship Award. And this is for student athlete with financial need, named after Stuffy Culver, a longtime Eau Claire sports booster. And we're proud to say that Ben Shea, Ben is a criminal justice major who will graduate in December. He's a four-year member of the Blugold football team, who was a National Football Foundation William V. Campbell Trophy semifinalist last fall, as well as an ESPN Academic All-American. Congratulations, Ben. Another award winner in this category is Beth Easker, and Beth could not be here this evening. She's an education major who will graduate next spring. She was a cross-country team captain and track team member who earned all conference honors, all region, and academic All-American for a team that won 3 conference titles and 1 national championship. Congratulations, Beth. Our next scholarship is the Alan Gravunda Scholarship, and I'd ask if Sandy Gravunda could stand, please. Sandy, thank you. And this is for any student athlete given in memory of longtime booster and university custodian Arlen Gravunda. And this year's recipient is Kristen Faber, and Kristen made a lot of history this year, women's ice hockey player, physical education major who will graduate next spring. She was the Player of the Year, first time in history, Player of the Year and Scholar Athlete of the Year in the NCHA, and she's the school's first American Hockey League Association, first all-team All-American in women's hockey history. Kristen? I'd like to congratulate all of you. Congratulations. Okay, oh, I'm sorry here. Hannah, I'm sorry. Hannah, come back up here, please. It's been a long day. This is the Aid and Margaret Olson Scholarship for any student athletes selected by members of the Olson family. Aid Olson was a Blugold athlete and coach, physical education department chair, and chair of the McPhee Building Committee. Hannah is a political science major who will graduate next spring, a two-time all-conference pick, and two-time team MVP, was also the conference scholar athlete for basketball, and she was a finalist last year for the Division III National Jostens Award. So Hannah, congratulations. And I'd like to ask Susan Merton to join me now. And Liz is accompanying Susan, so they've already met earlier. We got that right today. The Joe Merton Coaching Award, an award named in memory of Blugold Basketball Hall of Famer Joe Merton, and designated for an assistant coach, volunteer coach, or student coach who demonstrates a deep commitment to the student athletes and embodies a passion for lifelong learning and the love of the game. This year's winner is our swimming assistant coach, Liz Germanprey. And I've got to tell you, she makes a huge impact. I was at the swimming banquet last year, and just looking at the responses from the student athletes, she really lives the Joe Merton Scholarship Award. I know Coach Brandt has given Liz a lot of credit for how well the team's performing, but how they get together as a team and along as a team. So, Susan, I think Joe would be very proud to have Liz as a recipient. Congratulations. Our next award, and I'd like to ask Jim Mueller to join us. And last year was the inauguration of the Jim Mueller Spirit Award. And Jim, as you remember, Jim has just been so helpful within our athletics department, just well-liked by everybody, staff, student athletes alike. And we decided that this was something that we wanted to recognize other folks who help us out with the department. And Jim, why don't you come on up with me here for a moment? Okay. We have two winners of the Jim Mueller Blugold Spirit Award in second year in existence. And if we could ask Bill Arnsdorf and Marcy Syker to come up, please. Okay, and we'd like to begin here, and Marcy's husband, Milt, wasn't able to make it this evening, but Milt is a big part of this as well. And Bill Arnsdorf has been an official with the men's basketball scorekeeper for 47 years, and he witnessed Blugold basketball the past 47 years as the official scorekeeper, during which time the team fashioned an 897-388 record. He was recruited by Bill Zorn for the final 4 seasons of his 40-year career, then was on hand for the 27-year career of Ken Anderson and the 16-year career of Terry Gibbons. He was witness to some outstanding players that have appeared in Zorn and went on to careers in the NBA. He was there for the big rival games that developed over the years, not only in the conference but in the playoffs, as well as in such as the Eau Claire Parkside District 14 contests. He saw packed crowds, last-second shots, NCAA tournament games. He dealt with coaches who were or became famous after their appearances, as well as referees who advanced to higher levels. Bill also saw a lot of member of the chain gang of the Blugold football team for 27 years. At one time, he helped promote the Blugolds through souvenir items sold in the university bookstore, which he managed for many years. Bill, congratulations. And Marcy and Milt Syker became involved with the women's basketball program through the congeniality of former coach Lisa Stone, who befriended the local business family during the Blugolds post-game gatherings on the Zorn playing court. For nearly 2 decades, the Sykers have provided post-game treats for the team, as well as travel care packages for road games. They were similarly involved with softball team for many years. Health issues have forced the pair to curtail their activities to a degree, but they are still big supporters of the program. And Marcy, please let Milt know we appreciate everything you've done for us. She's already started for the new season planning, so thanks, Marcy. Yep, thanks, Bill and Marcy. Thank you, Jim, as well. Now, it's my great pleasure as we get into the Super Six to introduce Leslie Huntington. She is our senior women's administrator. Leslie, as well, had won a national championship in 2008. Does a lot for our program, and I think it's really refreshing to see what our current student athletes have been doing, and I think you'll be very impressed after this presentation. Leslie?
Good evening. I have to say I'm humbled to take over the reins from Tim Peterman in the presentation of the Super Six Awards. Tim came to me and asked me to get involved with Super Six, and I thought, well, if I have to introduce them at the banquet, I can handle that, but little did I know that I had to write the script. So, with some great guidance from Tim Peterman, I'll try to do it justice, Tim. The concept for the Blugold Super Six Salute Award was developed by Emeriti Sports Information Director Tim Peterman in 1987. It's a very special award because it is the highest award that UW-Eau Claire as an institution can present to one of our student athletes. What is really special today is that for the 8th year in a row, one of our Hall of Fame inductees includes former Super Six recipient Shelley Roth. She will be the 19th Super Six winner to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. When this concept was developed 25 years ago, it was because we had good athletes who were also good students, but they weren't being recognized for that outstanding combination. Some people still don't realize that being a good athlete and being a good student are not mutually exclusive concepts. Division III athletics without athletic scholarships is all about the student athlete. This evening, we're recognizing individuals who are taking a lot more from their college education than just good grades. These individuals have learned a lot about the game of life from their classroom outside the classroom. They know the value of the journey, the benefits of time management, the success of being prepared, the results of overcoming adversity, the satisfaction of doing their best, and the brotherhood and sisterhood developed as part of a team. These athletes represent the best of the best. Last year's Blugold class of some 550 participants achieved a cumulative grade point average of 3.14, with over 300 of them making the Conference Scholastic Honor Roll for having over a 3-point GPA for the year. The 3.14 GPA was the 10th year in a row that our department has had a 3.0 or better GPA. Words just don't describe the magnitude of that accomplishment, but it certainly exemplifies the motto of the university and points to the great balancing act that UW-Eau Claire student athletes maintain between their academics, athletics, community service, fundraising requirements, and social life. We will now salute this class of Super 6 recipients. Would all of the Super 6 recipients please come forward and take a chair on the platform with me? As they're coming up, I'll have each of them step forward as they're introduced and have their coaches join us at the podium. I'd also ask that their parents stand and be recognized during the presentation. Some of the recipients have told me about the benefits of their athletic participation and some of the memorable moments from their careers as Blugold student athletes and what their plans are for the future. And I'll relate some of what they said, which is not in your program, as well as some comments from their coaches. The first Super 6 recipient that we'll recognize is Jonathan Kearns, who couldn't be here tonight, but I'd like to ask Bill McCosick to please come forward to the podium to accept the Super 6 award for Jonathan Kearns. And is Coach Lowen here? Coach Lowen? Okay. John Kearns could not be here tonight as he is continuing to pursue his dream of playing professional hockey. He asked Bill McCosick, who is the head resident in Horan Hall and a special friend to many Blugold student athletes, to accept the plaque on John's behalf. A 4-time letter winner in men's hockey, John Kearns finished his career as a Blugold following the 2010-11 season with 4 goals and 21 assists. He is currently playing professionally with the Laredo, Texas Bucks. John was a 2-time team captain and earned the team's Freshman of the Year award in 2008, as well as the team's Most Dedicated award in his senior year. He was honored twice on the All-Academic team in the NCHA and was a 2-time All-NCHA Honorable Mention recipient. In 2011, he was named WIAC Co-Scholar Athlete, and he was an All-WIAC First-Team selection in 2010. His most memorable moment as a Blugold was defeating Adrian College in overtime in their own tournament while they were ranked number 2 in the nation. John had the game-winning assist, and he said before he could even put his hands in the air to celebrate, the entire team had already hurdled the bench in excitement. He said that those are the moments that every athlete lives for. Coach Matt Lowen said he is currently trying to tailor his recruiting toward players like John. He said John's character, leadership, and work ethic was contagious. He was a great player and a great teammate. John holds a 3.49 GPA as a healthcare administration major. He's not sure when he will graduate, as he's currently chasing his dream in hockey while his body is still in shape to do so. When he's done playing hockey, John plans to finish his degree in healthcare administration. He's already completed his minor in finance and has only to complete a year-long internship to finish his degree. While he would love to make a living playing hockey, if that doesn't work out, he would like to work in the healthcare field while also coaching hockey. John credits his athletic participation for giving him structure during his college years and keeping him focused on the bigger things in life. He felt without athletics he would have been a lost puppy on campus and would not have achieved as much as he should have. We congratulate Jonathan Kearns on his Super 6 award, and thank you, Bill, for accepting the award on his behalf. Would Hannah Misek please step forward, and would her coach Tanya Englund please come forward with her plaque? And would Hannah's parents, Mike and Kathy Misek, also please stand and be recognized? A two-time D3Hoops.com All Central Region second team selection, try to say that several times fast. Hannah was a four-time letter winner in women's basketball who finished her career following the 2010-11 season. Hannah was also a two-time All-WIAC first-team pick and was a Jostens Trophy finalist in 2011. During Hannah's senior season, she led the WIAC and her team in scoring while also leading the team in rebounding, making her fifth best in the WIAC. She finished with 8 double-doubles. Hannah was a two-time team MVP and Captain's Award winner and played on teams that advanced to the NCAA tournament in her freshman and sophomore seasons. She received the team's Rookie of the Year award in her freshman season. Hannah's career stats rank her among the best to have worn the Blugold uniform, including 4th in scoring with 1,443 points, 5th in field goals and field goal percentage, 3rd in free throws made, 4th in free throws attempted, 7th in rebounding, and 6th in block shots. Coach Englund had this to say about Hannah. She will always be remembered as a true triple threat, a talented basketball player, outstanding student athlete, and a tremendously devoted role model who always sought out opportunities as a Blugold athlete to serve the greater Eau Claire community. Coach Englund also said that even when Hannah was leading the conference in scoring, she was working to improve her defense and increase her rebounding numbers. While Hannah's athletic accomplishments speak for themselves, her 3.85 GPA as a political science major and membership in the University Honors Program speak to her academic abilities as well. Hannah was the 2011 WIAC Co-Scholar Athlete and was named to the COSIDA Academic All-District Second Team in 2010 and 2011. Hannah will graduate next spring with a political science major, and her hope is to teach and eventually work in the area of education policy. Among Hannah's most memorable experiences are the NCAA tournaments her freshman and sophomore years, along with upsetting Stevens Point at home by 20 on senior night, Pink Zone, during her junior year. Hannah said the benefits of her participation in UW-Eau Claire athletics are too many to name, but a key benefit was that she was pushed out of her comfort zone on and off the court. She also credits the strong sense of community at UW-Eau Claire, which helped her develop as a person, something she doesn't think she would have experienced anywhere else. Congratulations, Hannah, on your selection as a Blugold Super 6 recipient. Would Ben Shea please come to the podium? And would football coach Todd Glazer please join him? And would Ben's parents, Colleen Shea and Jeffrey Ebert, please stand and be recognized? A four-year letter winner in football, Ben Shea completed his Blugold playing career last season. During his career, Ben played in 39 of 42 games and was part of the 2007 team that advanced to the NCAA playoffs for just the second time in school history. In 2010, Ben was second on the team in tackles with 62, and that mark tied him for 15th in the WIAC. He forced one fumble and also recovered one. Ben primarily played the linebacker position and accumulated 71 tackles in his first 3 seasons and had 1 interception. In 2008, he led the Blugolds with 2 forced fumbles, a mark second in the WIAC. Ben noted participating in the 2007 playoffs as his most memorable experience in a Blugold uniform. The team received an at-large bid, then beat St. Norbert in the first round and lost a close game to Bethel in the second round. A criminal justice major, Ben sports a 3.71 GPA and plans to graduate this fall and begin pursuing a career as a probation and parole agent. Ben was just the 7th football player in school history to have ever earned the honor of COSIDA Academic All-American, and he was also named a National Football Foundation William V. Campbell Trophy semifinalist last fall. Coach Glazer commented that Ben was a man of few words, but instead used his work ethic, toughness, and love for football to show what kind of leader he was. He said that Ben may have been reserved off the field, but on the field, he was one of the toughest, most physical linebackers to wear the Blugold jersey. And no matter what he tackles in life, he will be successful. Among the benefits Ben feels he received being a Blugold student athlete, he singled out the value of working as a team to achieve a common goal and developing a strong work ethic. He also said that being a part of the team has created lifelong memories and stories that he can forever share with teammates. Congratulations, Ben, on your selection as a Blugold Super 6 recipient. Would Margaret Ho please step to the podium, and would track and field coach Chip Schneider and cross country coach Dan Schwamberger please come forward with her plaque? And would her parents Dorothea Ho and Thomas Ho please stand and be recognized? After transferring from Macalester College, Margaret competed for 2 seasons on the Blugold cross-country team and 1 season on the track team. She quickly made her mark, earning All-American honors both years in cross-country, as she earned a 33rd place finish at Nationals in 2009, helping UW-Eau win the national championship. The same season, she placed 8th at the WIAC championships, where the Blugolds also won the title. Coach Chip Schneider said that Margaret's transfer to Eau Claire was the final piece of the puzzle to the 2009 national championship. He said without Margaret, the championship would not have been possible. In 2010, Margaret earned a 22nd place finish at Nationals as the Blugolds finished 4th as a team, and she finished 8th in the WIAC championships as the team won another conference title. She was named WIAC Co-Scholar Athlete that year as well. During 2009-10, Margaret competed on the track team and earned 2 top 7 finishes in distance events at the WIAC championships. On an even larger scale, she has competed in the Madison Marathon and the Boston Marathon. A criminal justice major with a 3.94 GPA, Margaret studied abroad in Germany in the spring of 2011. She plans to graduate in December with a criminal justice comprehensive major and a double minor of psychology and anthropology. Her career goal is to become a police officer. Coach Schwamberger was disappointed that he only got to coach Margaret for 2 seasons of cross-country and 1 of track. He said that she was only here for 2 years, but made the most of that time. He also noted that if you ever have a chance to talk to Margaret about her running career, not to be fooled by her quiet demeanor, because she is one of the most competitive people he's ever met. Coach Schneider reiterated that by saying that Margaret was so quiet she was easy to forget about, unless you were from another team trying to beat her. Coach Schwamberger emphasized that the best part about coaching Margaret was that she raced her best when it meant the most. Margaret's most memorable moment as a Blugold student athlete was the moment the team found out that they had won the national championship in 2009. But even more memorable was seeing and hearing so many teammates cheer them on during the race. She said many teammates made the trip to Cleveland, Ohio to support the runners, and it made the whole experience even more special. Margaret said she got to know a lot of really awesome people during her time at Eau Claire, and learning to manage her time well contributed to her success. She says she learned the importance of keeping her goals in mind every day and working toward them patiently and consistently. She also experienced the importance of teammate support in helping her achieve individual goals as well as team goals. Margaret, congratulations on your selection as a Super 6 recipient. Would Thomas Breitbach please step to the podium? And the track and cross-country coach will stay here. And would his parents Michael and Kim Breitbach please stand and be recognized? Preparation and execution are the key ingredients to the success Thomas has experienced as a 3-time letter winner in both men's cross-country and track and field. Although Thomas has completed his cross-country eligibility, he will compete in track this spring. Since transferring from UW-La Crosse in 2008, Thomas, who competes in distance events, has recorded top 5 finishes at WIAC championships, and he highlighted his junior season with a 5,000-meter WIAC indoor championship title and 2 runner-up finishes at the 2011 NCAA Outdoor National Championships. During the 2011 outdoor season, he broke 2 school records, one of which had been in place for almost 33 years. In cross country, Thomas participated at nationals twice. In 2009, he helped the team to a 16th place finish, while in 2010, he was the lone representative for the men's team. In that season, he finished 93rd overall. Thomas had his best time in the 8,000 at regionals in the fall of 2010 when he achieved a time of 24:38, one of the best times in school history. Thomas has also served in leadership roles as a captain in 2009 and 2010. Excuse me. A history major with a 3.44 GPA, Thomas plans to graduate next spring, and his career goal is to become a collegiate cross-country and track and field coach. Sounds like you better not let him coach against you. Thomas has been a 5-time member of the USTF-CCCA All-Academic Team, while also earning co-SIDA Academic All-District Honors in 2011. Thomas said that one of the main benefits he has derived from his participation in athletics is an understanding of how great accomplishments are built on a foundation of smaller goals and objectives. He said he has learned how to prioritize those smaller goals and objectives within his sport and within the context of a larger life. Among others, he said he gained an understanding of the full and unmatched feeling of satisfaction that comes from accomplishing something you've worked at for years. Winning the 10,000 at the Hillsdale Gina Relays in 2011 is among his greatest memories. He had spent much time preparing for the race, and he recalls running away from a number of decorated runners in the second half of the race. His time was a 52nd personal best, that's 5-0, a 29-second school record, and the second fastest time in Division III last year. Coach Swanberger commented that Thomas is a true student of distance running. He went on to say, Thomas's knowledge of and enthusiasm for the sport has made me a better coach because the longer I coach him, the more feedback I get. And the more feedback I get, the more we are able to tweak different training variables that will help Thomas individually, but also the entire team. Coach Swanberger added that Thomas's greatest contribution isn't his school records or national performances, but rather that he has shown his teammates, coaches, and himself what is possible if you commit to a goal and make the necessary sacrifices to make that goal a priority, even when things don't go as planned. Coach Schneider added that he believes Thomas is the greatest distance runner in UW-Eau Claire history, running edge-of-your-seat races in the 2011 NCAA Outdoor Championships. He said that Thomas is so respected throughout the country that he will be the distance runner that everyone in the nation will be trying to beat in 2012. Thomas, congratulations on your selection as a Super 6 recipient. Would Kristen Faber please come forward? And would women's hockey assistant coach Amanda Schultz please bring her plaque to the podium? And would her parents Gary and Margot Faber please stand and be recognized? Sweeping Stevens Point at home for the first time ever last season will be her favorite among the many memories Kristen Faber will take with her into the future. This 4-time letter winner in women's hockey finished her Blugold career last season as an ACHA All-American, the first Blugold women's hockey player ever to earn that distinction. Along with being an All-American, Kristen was named the NCHA Player of the Year in 2011, while also being recognized as the NCHA Scholar Athlete. 2011 was the first time in league history that the same player earned both honors in the same year. Kristen earned all NCHA honors on the first team as a junior and senior after earning second team recognition as a sophomore and honorable mention as a freshman. She points to developing leadership skills as one of the benefits of her participation in UW-EC athletics. And she exhibited that in each of her 4 seasons as she led the team in scoring each year. That included a school record 34 points as a senior and never less than 22 points in each of her other 3 years. She missed only 3 games in 4 years. Kristen's name is common in the UW-EC women's hockey record books, as her career rankings find her leading in 10 of 12 categories, while she is second in the other 2. She is currently first in points, points per game, goals, goals per game, power play goals, shorthanded goals, assists, assists per game, penalties, and penalty minutes. They all caught on to that. She is second in game-winning goals and games played. Kristen also holds several single-season school records, including points and goals. Coach Mike Collins had this to say about Kristen. It has been an honor and a pleasure to have coached such an outstanding student-athlete and person. When I was recruiting Kristen, I had no idea how special a player and person I was bringing into our program. Her leadership, work ethic, competitiveness, and unselfishness are truly remarkable. I feel she has been the most dominating player the NCHA has ever had, and I'm sure every coach in the league is glad she's done. I'm hoping there is another player out there just like her. A physical education major with a 3.49 GPA, Kristen was also a two-time NCHA all-academic selection and hopes to use her degree to find a job in an elementary school in Minnesota or Wisconsin. She would also like to coach and eventually get her master's degree. Other benefits Kristen has taken from being a UW-EC athlete include time management, teamwork, commitment, and lifelong friends and memories. Congratulations, Kristen, on your selection as a Super 6 recipient. And I'd like to ask the athletes if they all would just stand one more time so that we can recognize you as a group for your outstanding achievements. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Huntington. I think you can see why we're so proud of our student athletes. Now we're on to the main event, and I'm really excited to have Bob Bradovich come in and help us out with this. I know Tim hates when I go off script, but I was actually upset with Bob last March. We were hosting the National Gymnastics Championships, and when I see Bob filming games, he has a tie and a shirt on, and sometimes he'll have shorts and dungarees, and he said, little trade secret, you know, when you're behind the desk, they can't see what you're wearing from the waist down. Well, Brett Schreiner and I went to Bob's station to do a round table to promote this event. So we were running around, and I had shorts on and my work boots, and I've been told I don't have the best looking legs around. They did pan in on my legs, so thanks, Bob. But in all seriousness, we're fortunate to have Bob here. He's a sports director at WQOW TV 18. He's very familiar with our Blugold program, having worked at TV 18 since 1996. Bob Bradovich is a Minnesota native who attended Carleton College and then UW-Madison for his master's. He is a past recipient of the Wisconsin Intercollegiate Athletic Conference's Tom Butler Award, an annual award given for the print or electronic media who provide outstanding coverage to WIAC athletics. He is a great professional in his field, and he has been a pleasure to work with. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you, Scott. And as you can see, I'm not wearing shorts or dungarees. Tonight represents a celebration of excellence. Thus far, we have recognized the current level of excellence in our student athletes with the Super 6 and scholarship recipients. Now we will move back in time to acknowledge our tradition of excellence with our Hall of Fame recipients. Men's athletics dates back to the fall of 1916 with the founding of this institution. Women's athletics was formalized in 1971. UW-EC can now boast 9 national championship teams, 140 conference championship teams, and 66 individual national champions. In the early years, there were a limited number of teams, but in the last quarter century, the sports module has been expanded to 20 teams. Some 800 student athletes report annually for tryouts in those sports. The quality of our student athletes is such that each year now there's an expectation that at least half the teams will be represented in postseason competition with full teams or qualifying individuals. Even with that quality and the vast number of student athletes and coaches, only an elite group of 180 have been inducted into the Blugold Hall of Fame since it was established in 1973. Tonight, we will add 7 more individuals to that group. To earn the title Hall of Famer as a student athlete, the individual must have shown distinctive, unique, or exceptional ability in his or her sport, minimally as a conference champion or an all-conference selection. Because that criteria alone does not completely narrow the list of candidates, the individuals must also have distinguished themselves in their profession or personally since leaving this institution. For male athletes, there is a waiting period of 15 years since they last competed, and for female athletes, the waiting period is now 12 years. We will present them individually, tell you some things about them that may not be in your program, and then give them an opportunity to share some thoughts with you. Director of Athletics Scott Kilgallen will present them with their plaques and will also pronounce a formal induction when all 7 have been presented. We would like to have all 7 seated before you throughout the presentation, so at this time, could we please have all the new inductees come forward and take a spot at the head table? Our first inductee is Scott Nesbitt. Scott, could you please step up to the podium? In his 4 years on the Blugold varsity, Scott played for both a conference singles and doubles title every year. He won 2 singles crowns and 3 doubles titles, which enabled the Blugolds to capture 4 consecutive conference team championships. 3 of his 4 varsity seasons he played in the NAIA Nationals in Kansas City. He won more than 140 singles and doubles matches during his career. The ultimate non-scholarship athlete, Scott was the university's conference scholar athlete in the days when each institution could nominate just 1 scholar athlete per year. He was also one of 7 named to the NAIA Academic All-American Tennis Team his senior year. His coach, Robert Scott, himself a Hall of Famer, said that during his tenure with the Blugolds, Scott's intense work ethic helped him improve his skills, which resulted in his high winning percentage. Coach Scott said Scotty loved to practice and motivate his teammates to get positive results from their time on the court. Team leaders like Scott made coaching a joy, the longtime coach said. He always set high standards for himself and the team, and when a match was over, he never failed to encourage others still on the court. Coach Scott called him a true thoroughbred, able to channel his talent and energy for the greater good of the sport, the team, and the school. When Scott was a senior, the student newspaper did a story about him and his doubles partner, Roger Hyman. It was entitled The Odd Couple. On the court, Roger could be loud. Scott was even-tempered. Roger could make unbelievable shots. Scott was consistent but not flashy. Yet, despite their differences, they were a good doubles team and also good friends. They even dated roommates from Towers. Scott's girlfriend, Elaine, is now his wife of 29 years. Scott has managed to enjoy a successful career in tennis, coaching at an academy, 4 different racket clubs, and 4 different colleges. Since 1989, he has coached more than 800 matches as the men's and women's tennis coach at St. Olaf College. He continues to play in USTA individual and team tournaments, and he works as a tennis clinician and instructor at various clinics and camps. As a physical education instructor, he teaches the lifetime activities of fly tying and fly fishing. He also offers guidance to student athletes as a chapel speaker and faculty advisor for St. Olaf College's Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, it was with pleasure that I congratulate and present Scott Nesbitt as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
Bob is telling me about Carleton. He's a little bit of a Carleton grad, and right across the river from St. Olaf. It's kind of tough to get the Hall of Fame thing from the Carleton, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. It is really great to be back here at St. Olaf. I mean, at St. Olaf. I spend too much time at St. Olaf, but it's great to be back here at Eau Claire. I really miss this place. I'm so proud to be a Blugold, and it's just such a great honor, so thank you very much. It's great to have my family here, my wife and my daughter, and some of my friends here. I really appreciate it. I brought up a picture. I'm not going to really show it to you, but a picture of one of my teams when I was here at Eau Claire. And I think one of the things that I've noticed as being a coach is that I love so much about teams is that they bring together just so many different kinds of individuals. People that, I wouldn't even know these people, or they wouldn't be my friends, or I'd have no connection with them or at all, except that they're on my team. And I've noticed that as I've been coaching at St. Olaf, and obviously when I was here at Eau Claire. Bob was mentioning about this friend of mine, Roger, and he was just a perfect example of that. I mean, we just didn't have a lot of things in common except for tennis, but tennis brought us together, and we just had a lot of fun. One thing that Bob didn't mention is that Roger always wore all these clothes. I mean, even when we were down playing in the South, Oklahoma, he had on 2 or 3 sweaters, things like that, and I always had pretty much as few clothes on as possible. So we were definitely quite a bunch out there. The other thing that I've really wanted to say, and I've heard it quite a bit here tonight, is that this whole team, the reason why I do the coaching that I'm doing right now and that I enjoyed the stuff that I did here as a tennis player at Eau Claire was I just love the team atmosphere. I really feel that you can do sometimes, oftentimes many more times, more as a team person as you can as an individual person. I know when I was playing here in these long tennis matches that sometimes, it just gets the matches just get so long, the points get so long. Coach Scott can attest to that. So long. But, it's so easy to kind of say, this is too tough, time to cash in the chips. But you see your teammates doing the same thing, court next to you. You see your teammates rooting you on, and you just keep going. And I've been doing this coaching at St. Olaf for 23 years, and I've seen it time and time again. It's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. Otherwise, I would do something else. But we've had some really great experiences of pushing each other as teammates on to do more than you could do as just individuals. And that's what it's been all about. I had some great teammates here. They weren't necessarily, my best friends, but we were really good friends on the team, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So this is a tremendous honor for me. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Scott, and congratulations. I'd like to invite Bob Coonan to come forward. Bob played the equivalent of 5 seasons of basketball at UW-EC because he appeared in 127 games, and that is the 3rd highest total in school history. Now, you may ask why that many games. It's because in each of his 4 seasons, the Blugolds won a conference championship, an NAIA District 14 title, and then played in the NAIA National Tournament in Kansas City. He played with 4 Hall of Fame teammates, Gib Hines, Tony Carr, Mike Morgan, Joe Merton. But he was a significant contributor himself, twice earning all-conference honors as his teams produced a 109-22 record, including a 66-2 record at home. He was a 6'8" power forward. He could score, rebound, pass, and play defense, as evidenced by his career totals in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals. The teams he played on allowed an average of just 58.9 points per game. His coach, Ken Anderson, also a Hall of Famer, remembers Bob as the ultimate team player, making others around him better. Coach Anderson said he had no weaknesses on either end of the court and was one of the great big men to ever play at UW-Eau Claire. Bob remembers most the goosebumps he would get while going to the pregame meal at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and seeing the students already lining up outside the doors of Zorn Arena for the game that night. A business education teacher, Bob's career has taken him to Anago, Chippewa Falls, and Pulaski High Schools, where he's also coached boys basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I congratulate and present Bob Coonan as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here tonight and really humbled to be here tonight. When I showed up, there were several people in the room I didn't expect to show up, so the chance of this going bad is a little bit better than it was a couple hours ago. Nonetheless, to be honored in the Hall of Fame, a couple things have to happen. One, you have to age, and that's happened. Number two, you've got to be surrounded by good people and great players in a great institution, and that is what I've been surrounded by. The timing of when I came through this place was unbelievable. Hold on a second. I've watched kids come through teaching high school, and when they take the turn out of high school to get into looking at colleges, I was the same way. I was pretty clueless. And I made the trip over here to Eau Claire. I already visited 4 colleges, and I bet I was on campus for 1 hour, and I knew that this was going to be the place. For some reason, I just knew it. And again, lucky, fortunate to come across a program that was willing to have me, and go from there, and of course be as successful as we've been. Again, I say lucky. I started as a business major. I ended with a business ed major. Business education, because I wanted to get into coaching. Every summer we'd come in, coach dozens and dozens of camps with Coach Anderson, Coach Race, and the kids all knew us. They knew what was going on. I loved coaching them. I networked with several teachers and coaches from around the state, and I switched over. And Eau Claire University was only one of the 2 or 3 schools in the conference that actually had business education. And back then, Mike Sullivan, a good friend, the voice of Z100, when it was broadcast over the entire western part of Wisconsin, everybody knew who you were, and he really put a different face on Blugold athletics in all phases throughout, if you can remember those days. Fortunate enough to meet my wife, Jackie, pom-pom girl here from University of Wisconsin, Eau Claire. I heard they were pretty good. I never saw them at halftime, but she was here. Thank you for that. But most importantly, I'd like to thank the people that were around here. My brothers who are in the audience tonight. Scott used to come up from Whitewater and either try to get out of Whitewater for a weekend or just come up for a game. My brother Jeff is also here. He was at all 4 stints in Kansas City, many games, and of course he had to because he was still in junior high traveling with my parents. The coaches, actually I'm going to recognize some players here tonight because one thing I want to talk about when we start talking about the Zorn Arena days and the era that we were in, it wasn't because of us, it was because everybody that put on a uniform in that particular era won. And there's a couple of guys in the audience tonight that kind of set the table for us. I was kind of the 3rd or 4th wave through here. Jim Martell, who's in here, Denny Blanc. Those are the guys that basically contributed to a lot of teams and fans from other schools that didn't like us. And that was a tribute to them. Mr. Peterman, thank you for putting this together. I'm a teacher. I know exactly how much time this does take. Eau Claire boosters and community, I'd like to thank you. People that put this together, John Bachmeyer, thank you. And coaches, Coach Dale Race, great friend, mentor to me in coaching. He was the assistant coach here at Eau Claire when I did come through. Coach Andersons, all right, talking about 2 Andersons. Coach Gloria Anderson, who I'd be reminiscent to say was part of that whole thing, and thank you, Coach Gloria, for the Thanksgiving dinners for those 4 years when we couldn't go home. Coach Anderson, thank you for having the program that put everybody else on stage. There were four, as Bob said, there were 4 people, Hall of Fame, and it wasn't by accident that they were Hall of Famers. Again, whoever put on the uniform won, and thank you for allowing me to put that uniform on. Thank you for running one of the best small college programs in the nation, and I thank you for that. I'm going to miss somebody. I know that. Dr. Kurth, athletic director, thank you. Most of these people, I didn't even know they were going to have a touch on my life until it actually did happen. Mr. and Mrs. Tom Schwartz, I saw them tonight. Again, campus connections, they were fantastic for me, and thank you for being here tonight.
At this time, I would like to call Shelley Roth to the podium. I know all of our inductees have traveled some distance to be here, but Shelley, I think, wins the award for longest distance. She's here all the way from Australia. Since 2007, Shelley's been a geophysicist with ESO Australia in Melbourne. As a Blugold, Shelley was a multi-event track competitor, which equates to being the most versatile athlete on the team. She was a 3-time conference indoor pentathlon champ and twice was the conference javelin champ, which is obviously an outdoor event. She also scored points in the heptathlon, the outdoor multi-event, the high jump, triple jump, and long jump. She competed in the nationals 6 times and finished high enough to earn All-American honors 3 times. She is another one of our Super 6 winners to become a Hall of Fame inductee. She won the Super 6 award in 1994. Shelley notes that her Blugold performances did not gain steam until her sophomore year because she learned a hard lesson as a freshman, and that had to do with off-campus social events. Athletes should avoid them. She suffered a significant knee injury when a male teammate decided to jump off a couch into a group of friends in the middle of the room. His friends did not catch him, and so he landed on the back of Shelley's leg as she stood visiting with friends in the corner. One of her coaches, Jen Arneson, said it was a privilege to be part of a coaching staff that had a chance to work with a student athlete like Shelley, because the pentathlon and heptathlon were usually only contested at championship meets. The coaching staff faced the weekly dilemma of trying to decide just how many events they could reasonably ask Shelley to compete in each meet. Whatever events she did compete in, she consistently finished in the top 5 and usually won or took second in both the javelin and high jump. As evidence of her all-around athletic ability, Shelley played on state tournament teams in basketball and volleyball as a high school standout, and later played for the Houston Energy Women's Professional Football League while she was working for ExxonMobil in Houston. She has both her bachelor's degree and her master's degree in geology, and she has worked professionally as a geophysicist since 1999. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I congratulate and present Shelley Roth as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
I haven't been around here in a long time. I think the last time I was in Eau Claire was in 1995. I haven't exactly been around, so not in the neighborhood. But since I left Eau Claire, there's so many things that I never dreamed would happen, not just to me. As Bob mentioned, women's athletics at UW-Eau Claire began in 1971. That I was born in 1971, and I am a product of Title IX. I never dreamed that women would finally, at this time, be competing in the pole vault, the steeplechase, and ice hockey at the collegiate level. I never dreamed that professional basketball and professional soccer would become career opportunities for women. And I never dreamed that I would have the opportunity to play my lifelong favorite sport of football for 6 years. Professionally, I never dreamed that my studies and my career would take me from Wisconsin to Denver, to New Orleans, to Houston, Texas, and now finally to Melbourne, Australia. One of the questions Australians often ask me is, what do you miss most about the United States? After being there for 4 years, I can say without hesitation that the thing I miss most about the United States is Thanksgiving. A holiday where you can sit down with your family and your friends around a table, have a good meal, on a day that typically revolves around sport. For me, this banquet is the finest Thanksgiving that I have had in a long time. So let me begin by giving thanks to the Hall of Fame committee for the honor of being selected to the Blugold Hall of Fame. I never dreamed that I would be here. Thank you for Tim Peterman for all his efforts in bringing us here, organizing all the events for us, and thank you for somehow finding me in Melbourne. I'd like to give thanks to my family. My mother Jane and my sister Christina are here. I have to say thanks to my mother because she never ever discouraged me from any endeavor whatsoever in my life. I'm also thankful to be home this weekend because I'll get to spend Monday with her. It's her birthday. I'd like to give thanks to many of my friends who have joined me here. Some of them I've known since I was 6 years old, who I played volleyball and basketball with in high school and had a lot of good times with. Some of them who also joined me at UW-Eau in 1990. There are so many people that I'd like to thank from my days as a Blugold. Unfortunately, some of them cannot be here today. As you just heard, my freshman year was pretty much a wash because of an injury that I suffered. And my junior year, I think I had an even more heartbreaking injury. I pulled a hamstring on the first day of the conference meet. And that was just extremely heartbreaking. I was really looking forward to my junior season. And I think I speak for more than myself in giving thanks to the late Jeff Oliphant and his staff of athletic trainers who've kept us all in the game. I'd like to give thanks to my track and field coaches, Mel Lewis, Stan Kerr, and most of all to Jen Arneson, who was the only coach that I had as a constant throughout my career. Those who know Jen know that she is never lacking for an inspirational saying or a quotation. And track and field, most people typically think of it as a compilation of individual events and individual sports. But Jen always emphasized that we were indeed a team, because together each achieves more. Jen, you are so right, not just in sport, but in every aspect of life. After my first season with Blugold track team, I desperately wanted to qualify for nationals. I'd seen so many of my friends have so much success, and I was so excited for them that I wanted to do that myself one day. However, my freshman year, all I was participating in was the high jump and the triple jump, and I honestly did not believe I had the talent to go to nationals in those events. So my sophomore year, I approached Coach Mel Lewis and I said, I want to try the heptathlon. And I recognized at that point that I had to learn how to compete in 6 new events in order to achieve that goal. I didn't know if Mel really took me seriously. I'd been out my freshman year, didn't really know what I could do. But he took me out into the field and he spent half an hour teaching me how to throw the javelin. And after that half hour, he looked at me and he said, Shelley, you're going to be an All-American. I like to say that that's how good a coach he was. The rest of the events didn't come so easily, however. Learning and improving in the 6 other events which make up the heptathlon, that took a team. Fortunately, my Blugold teammates were a very generous and very talented bunch. When I had to learn how to throw the shot put, who better to learn from than Hall of Famers like Cheryl Janowitz and Dan Schmidt? When I had to learn how to hurdle, who better to learn from than Diane Duval, a 2-sport athlete, a 2-time Super 6 award winner? When I had to learn to gut out an 800-meter race, who better to train with than the women's cross-country team during the off-season? Several of them are here today, and I thank them for coming, Heidi and Ann. But by the time I was a senior, I had gone to nationals in the heptathlon. I had gone to nationals in the javelin. And that year, I also managed to go to nationals and become an All-American in the high jump. Who better to have helped me reach that goal than my high jump teammate and Hall of Fame teammate, Arlene Meinholtz, who is here today as well. So Jen Arneson, you were right. Together, each does achieve more than I ever dreamed. In closing, I'd also like to thank the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire for providing me with not only an exceptional athletics experience, but providing me with an exceptional education. I would like to thank those particularly in the geology department, particularly Bob Hooper, Brian Mahoney, and Paul Myers. And the last class I attended here wasn't so bad. It was a 5-week field camp in western Montana. It was quite fun. But you never know where things are going to lead you in life. That one course led to a nomination for a summer internship at the United States Geological Survey in Denver. And it was because I had that internship, I was able to secure multiple internships in the oil industry while I was in graduate school. And it was those internships during graduate school that led to my success and my full-time hire my entire career with ExxonMobil Corporation. That one nomination has resulted in a lifetime of good fortune for me. So thank you once again. Congratulations to the other inductees, and best wishes to all the award winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. At this time, I would like to invite Jim Brennan to come forward. As a diver on a swim team, Jim only had 2 events in which to contribute points or win accolades, the 1-meter event and the 3-meter event. But in 4 conference meets, Jim won 7 gold medals and finished second once, which is darn near perfect. And the only time he didn't win, he lost out to a teammate. In national competition, he contributed team points on both boards every year, which means a top 12 finish. He was an All-American 4 times, and he finished as the national runner-up once on the 1-meter board. Hall of Fame swim coach Tom Pryor served as his diving coach 1 year, but he was also coached at Eau Claire by Joe Casey and Olympic gold medalist Bob Clotworthy. Coach Pryor said that a coach is blessed when he looks forward to practice each day because the athletes are pleasant, dedicated, inspired, and genuinely fun to coach. He said that Jim was the epitome of such a diver. Coach Pryor said that Jim had extraordinary diving talent and a sense of awareness of where the water is when coming out of multiple somersaults and twists. Pryor said that he could provide Jim with his knowledge of physics and his experience from studying under longtime Olympic diving coach Hobie Billingsley and observing his national champion divers at Indiana University, but it was Jim that had the finesse to put his comments into practice when coming off the diving board. Coach Pryor said he used a thrilling experience with Jim as an example of motor learning in his kinesiology class every semester after Jim graduated. In a championship meet, Jim was assigned the dreaded first position to dive in the 3-meter diving finals. This event was scheduled first in the evening program. Jim dreaded doing his reverse 2.5 somersault, intended to do it last to make certain his other 10 dives would get him to the finals. At this meet, Coach Pryor decided to have Jim do the reverse 2.5 first in the finals. Jim practiced this drive last, just before they cleared the pool to start the finals. And Jim's second practice dive was so excellent, Coach Pryor asked him to stop and remember how good it felt to do that dive. Immediately after the national anthem was played, the announcer stated that Jim Brennan would be the first diver. In motor learning, the law of recency explains that the skill you most recently did will tend to be executed again as it was last performed. There is a reason for the law of recency. Jim rode that board high, he jumped into the air and performed a perfect reverse 2.5 somersault With a straight kick out, developing little to no splash. He then confidently finished his dives and won the event. Coach Pryor said Jim was always a humble yet self-assured champion and was liked by all of his competitors. Jim has been both confident and successful since he left Eau Claire with his business administration degree. He has worked for 30 years in the Chicago area for IBM Systems Group, Lexmark International, and now Arlington Industries. Over his career, he's been recognized for his ability to successfully develop and build high-performance teams. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I congratulate and present Jim Brennan as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
What Coach Pryor didn't tell you was he also said, don't think. And it worked. I'm very appreciative and grateful for this wonderful honor. Looking back, I had 4 memorable years that challenged me more than I ever realized. I was fortunate to be given so much by so many people. My parents, teachers, and coaches and classmates. I have come to realize that any real honor or recognition in life is really a reflection and in a way to acknowledge the people who have helped you along the way. And I sure had a lot of help here for 4 years. There are a number of people who are here tonight who helped me along the way in life, and I'd like to thank and acknowledge them because I wouldn't be here without them. First, I'd like to thank my parents who are here with me tonight, Alan, Mary, Francis, Brennan. You gave me the opportunity to come here to Eau Claire. You believed in me and have always supported me. I'm sure there were a few times that I gave you cause for concern, but no matter what happened, you always supported me. You watched me have my successes and failures, and now as a parent, I know that's not easy, but you let me learn along the way. My sisters Ann and Mary and her husband Dane, you made the trip here tonight. I'd like to thank you both. You kept me grounded, and I know at times I wasn't easy. My wife Erin and my 3 sons, Logan, Connery, and Case, who are also here with me tonight, thank you for making my life richer and at times very unpredictable and surprising and interesting. I'm glad you're here to share the moment with me and to see how much the 4 years I spent here have influenced me and how special this place is. When I look back, there's a teammate I need to acknowledge. His name's Tim Gilmore. He was a former high school classmate and a Blugold swimmer here. Tim was the one who literally brought me to Eau Claire. It was in the early summer that he invited me to drive up with him from Chicago. I think he wanted to come see his girlfriend at the time, but he needed someone to come with him. And he wanted me to see where he's going to school. He told me it was a beautiful university with a strong academic environment, and it had a very good swimming and diving program as well. He was right on all counts. This campus is one of the most beautiful places in the Midwest, let alone with a university. The academics here are very strong and challenging. And Tim Gilmore did mention that the university had a very good swimming and diving program, but what he didn't mention to me at the time is that it was coached by a man named Tom Pryor. Coach Pryor built a swimming program that was a conference and national powerhouse during a 3-decade period, which started in 1969. His teams won 25 out of 30 conference titles. At one time, 19 straight. 3 times we're the NAIA national runner-up, and 15 times we finished in the top 5. His men's teams produced a 234 and 49 dual meet record. And he developed over 140 All-Americans, and that's just the men's statistics. The women's are even better. Coach Pryor always was looking for ways to improve the team, so after my freshman year, which he coached me, he brought in some additional coaches. He brought in Joe Casey, who had coached under Ronnie O'Brien at Ohio State. Ronnie O'Brien's coached the Olympic men's team for 7 straight Olympics. Joe coached us for 2 years and made us better divers. And then my senior year, Coach Pryor and Dr. Kurth brought in another coach. His name was Bob Clotworthy. Bob Clotworthy was the NCAA and Olympic diving champion on the 3-meter diving board. He'd coached diving at places like West Point and Princeton and Texas before he came to Eau Claire, and he knew a little about diving. And the thing about Joe Casey, Bob Clotworthy, and Coach Tom Pryor is they made us better divers, but they made us better people. Coach Pryor, the 4 years I spent here, I learned a lot from you. And the time I spent served me well in my professional career. You had a passion for your job. You worked long hours, but you loved what you were doing. You always made time for us and kept an eye on us as well, and some of us needed that more than others. You were a tireless and masterful recruiter. How you got some of the talent here without being able to offer athletic scholarships is truly amazing. You created a team and family environment where you made us all feel we could contribute and that we counted. You opened your home to us. We had the pizza get-togethers, the ice cream socials, and the dinners to bring us together as a team. We worked really hard, and you always had us better prepared both mentally and physically than any other team we competed against. But you always made it fun, and we look forward to coming to practice. Coach, when I'm talking about the things you did and what I learned from you, there's always something in someone else I need to mention. Her name is Becky Pryor. Becky, thank you for all you did to support us throughout the years. You know you played a large role in our success. Tim Peterman, I'd like to thank you for all the work you did, not only for helping prepare for this wonderful event today, but for the work you did as the sports information director. When we were going through the correspondence back and forth to prepare for this event, I got a chance to go back in a box I'd put away and read some of the articles you wrote. You always made sure we were included, and you wrote some really good press about us. Thank you. The 4 years I spent here were very special times in my life, and I am very honored and very grateful to receive this wonderful award tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. At this time, I would like to invite Sarah Drozdovich to come forward. Sarah Szymanski, as she was known during her competitive days, did something that few athletes do in any sport. She won one swimming event for 4 consecutive years and was also the team's most valuable in each of her 4 varsity seasons. Leading the Blugolds to 4 consecutive conference team championships, Sarah was the most dominant sprinter in the league. She won 9 conference individual golds and 12 conference relay golds. The most she could have won would have been 12 individual and 16 relay golds, since swimmers are limited to 7 events in the conference meets, and that's quite spectacular. She had her name etched on 3 individual and 4 relay records when she graduated. Coach Pryor said of Sarah, a conference championship team needs a great swimmer that her teammates can strive to help in their journey to the championship. Sarah was one of those rare individuals that led her team by the example of hard work, dedication, desire to win, inspiration, and scholarship. Sarah had it all and used these qualities to make her teammates look good. Sarah married a Blugold swim teammate, Dominic Drozdovich, and they settled in California. Sarah graduated with a political science major and a history minor, but after 11 years of serving as the director of operations for the School of Health and Natural Sciences at Dominican University, she returned to school and this past spring obtained her teaching credential. She's looking forward to a career change next year. She becomes a classroom teacher. Her husband is unable to be here today because he is in the wine business, and this is the busy harvest season in California. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I congratulate and present Sarah Drozdovich as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
I'm a little nervous, so please bear with me. And actually, since I sent my bio to Tim, I actually was hired as a kindergarten teacher in Napa. So if you were all 5-year-olds, this would be a lot easier. Since finding out about this incredible honor a few months ago, I've been reflecting on what I would like to share with you tonight. Central and constant in my reflection was the fact that I would not be receiving this honor without the support of many people, some of who are here with me tonight. I'd like to start with my family. Steve, my little brother, endured meet after meet on weekends growing up, and you were so patient. He was talking tonight about 20 heats of 500 freestyle that he had to sit through, and I didn't know they were that bad. I don't remember too much complaining, just bags full of toys, books, and snacks to keep you occupied while Beth and I competed in meets throughout the season. My brother chose not to go into swimming after a particular comment he received after a 50-meter freestyle where I don't remember who said it, but it was like, wow, you're not as fast as your sisters. Instead, he chose to hit the slopes and never look back. Thank you for being here tonight. It means a lot to me. My little sister, Beth, swam for the U of M, and growing up, she was right there with me through club and high school practices. Beth, watching you win your state title your senior year inspired me to finish my career strong at Eau Claire. You set a goal for yourself and showed such determination in achieving it, and I was, and still am, very proud of you. Competing with you on a collegiate level is among one of my favorite college memories, and again, thank you for celebrating with me tonight. And to my parents, Bob and Sue, thank you for making Beth and I join the swim team when we moved to Minnesota. When I was 12, we relocated from Iowa to Minnesota, and we went to a private school, so instead of meeting all of 300 12-year-olds in Hutchinson, I only knew 20, so to expose us to the rest of the community, we were forced to join the swim team. Thank you. I'm sure you never imagined how that decision would shape our lives, and I hope you know how much I appreciated the sacrifices you made so I could follow my dream of being a competitive swimmer. To simply say thank you hardly illustrates how I feel in my heart, but with my whole heart, thank you. The next person I want to acknowledge is the reason I chose the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, Coach Pryor. The process of deciding where to go to college seemed like such a daunting task when I was a senior in high school. I visited many schools and coaches throughout Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and it's because of Coach Pryor and the swimmers that I met on the recruiting trip that I chose to Eau Claire over all others, including lacrosse. From the moment I stepped onto campus, his support was constant. From helping me get into classes and checking about my assimilation into the dorms, Coach became a father figure for me in Eau Claire. Without his generous, genuine, and caring support, I could not have enjoyed the career I had both in the classroom and in the pool. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything. And I don't want to forget to thank his wife, Becky, either. She was always such a gracious hostess whenever the team came to their home, whether it was to welcome a new recruit or steak and beans dinner honoring the accomplishments in the classroom. She always made us feel like their home was our home away from home, so thank you to you as well. Although many think of swimming as an individual sport, I don't think one can endure the training and nerves of competition without incredible teammates. I'm grateful for their support during our time together at Eau Claire and for the enduring, lasting friendships I still have. I'd like to thank one particular teammate who couldn't be here tonight, my husband, Dominic. He was my male counterpart on the team. We were both sprinters, and so in swimming, you know, the girls go first and then the guys go, and you always stood and cheered for your counterpart. We always swam in the same lane together. And he was my loudest cheerleader. In my last season, he was one of my coaches. And I'll never forget a pre-race pep talk with him and Coach Noel Ness before the 100 free in my final race at conference. And I don't think I can remember what he said, but I just remember it being the best technical race I probably ever swam. Choosing Eau Claire for my undergraduate education and collegiate swimming experience is hands down one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. To the administration and athletic department, thank you for acknowledging my swimming career and accomplishments at Eau Claire with this incredible honor. Thank you to the Hall of Fame Selection Committee for your consideration of my nomination, and to Tim Peterman for all the work you did in organizing everything that we've had today. It's been a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Would Craig Gillick please step forward? Here's some words from former Blugold baseball coach Craig Walter talking about Craig Gillick. Craig Gillick was an impressively strong hitter that gave us the feeling we could score every time he was at the plate. He was so strong with the bat in his hand and extremely competitive in a quiet sort of way. You never had to worry about Craig Gillick being ready to play. 28 was a good number for Craig Gillick. It represented the career record he set in home runs and also the number of victories the Blugolds recorded in 2 different seasons that Gillick played, both of which are the best in school history. He was the NAIA District 14 Player of the Year one season and the Conference Northern Division Player of the Year the next season. During a period when UW-EC transitioned from the NAIA to the NCAA, Craig Gillick was an NAIA All-Area pick and an NCAA All-Region selection in back-to-back seasons. Coach Walter called Gillick a great all-around athlete, versatile in so many different sports. He said Craig could have played almost any position for the Blugolds on the baseball field and done quite well. He said his strength was probably his instinctive knowledge of the game. He always knew what to do before the play. Craig always thought he should pitch for the Blugolds, but Coach Walter didn't ever want to show opponents the Blugolds' secret weapon on the mound. Gillick enjoyed a successful career with the Eau Claire Cavaliers, once slugging a club record 36 home runs in a season. He has also coached baseball and football at the high school level and with the Eau Claire Express for 3 seasons. Gillick's most memorable moment as a Blugold occurred off the field on a spring trip to Silver City, New Mexico. While relaxing in their hotel room, he and 3 teammates were throwing out so many one-liners from movies, they were laughing so hard, they decided to go outside to get some fresh air. They didn't think anything of it until the next day when Coach Walter brought it to their attention that some hotel guests had complained about some ball players being outside late at night, being loud and wearing nothing but their underwear. Coach Walter did not think this as humorous as the players found it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I congratulate and present Craig Gillick as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
Well, typically the speaker is the one supposed to be seeing you in your underwear, but now I'm sure you have that vision of me standing out in mine, which isn't a good one. I'd first like to say congratulations to all the inductees of the class of 2011. Also, thank you to UW-Eau Claire for the opportunity to be blessed with a great education and the ability to further my playing days after my high school years. Thank you to my mom and dad, who not only encouraged me to work hard, they also made sacrifices of their own to make sure that I was always able to have that chance to participate in any activity that I wanted to growing up. Not to mention the countless hours that they spent on the road traveling from ball game to ball game, football game to football game. Thank you so much for being there. You're truly an inspiration to me. Thank you to my father-in-law for coming today. I know his wife couldn't make it. She had another celebration within the family, but I know she'd be here as well. Everything that you two have done for my family, I greatly appreciate. Thank you very much. I was blessed to grow up with 2 outstanding parents and role models, but I'm very fortunate and honored to have you two in my life. You're a living proof that you can make anything last through hard work and love, a model of commitment that we should all strive towards. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my wife, my beautiful wife. Not only has she inspired me to always give that little extra effort, but she's my best friend and someone I've always admired and thought very highly of. Her beauty drew me to her that first night that we met in Eau Claire, but I fell in love with her mind and her intelligence. She continues to amaze me with her desire and her work ethic at becoming the best at whatever she can do. She went back to work recently, and it was one of the hardest things that we could do as a family, but her work ethic and helping me raise our 3 beautiful children, she's truly an amazing wife and mother, and I cannot express in words how much she means to me and how much she makes me want to be more like her every day. Being inducted in the Hall of Fame is a great achievement. However, whatever achievements I have earned over the course of my life clearly have not been due to my abilities alone. They were also due to the belief of so many others, the values and skills taught by my family, my teachers, and my coaches. They shaped me into what I am today. Growing up, my dream was to be an athlete, and a very good athlete. I can remember being a young boy watching the Milwaukee Brewers in the World Series. And yes, that was a long time ago. It'll be happening this year again, too. I told my dad that I was going to play in the World Series someday. He told me that would be great, and I could do it if I worked hard at it. I had goals set, and I knew that it would take dedication to reach those goals. My dad kept pushing me and helping me dream so I would reach my goal. It wasn't long after that I started to realize something very important. There's a difference between dreams and goals. In order to transfer your dreams and translate them into goals, you must actively write them down. Once you do that, it's written. It's stated a goal for you. It's stated as a goal that you can achieve. You've set your path to reach greatness, and it's true. You cannot achieve your most desired goals if you only dream. The act of writing it down is simple, yet effective difference between those who succeed and those who fail. A message my wife and I are trying to relay to our 3 children today. One very important principle is consistency. It shows value. Consistency is necessary for trust, durability, and longevity. You have to show up every day, no matter how difficult the game or life must be. Over time, consistency will allow you to achieve your goals. Standing before you today, I know this is real. It's not a dream. When I was told this summer I was being inducted by Mr. Peterman, I was honored. It feels like a dream, but I know in my heart that my hard work, dedication, and consistency has put me in front of you today. Before closing, I'd like to say something to my children, Will, Nick, and Delaney. Dream. Set your goals high, work hard to reach them. Because nothing is impossible if you put your heart into it with all you have. Thank you for being here today. God bless you, and enjoy the night.
Thank you, Craig. Would John Furr please step forward? Before there was Craig Gillick, there was John Furr. Like Gillick, he came to Eau Claire to play football, but made his mark with a baseball bat. After starting 16 of 20 games his first 2 seasons of football as a defensive back, he put the pads away to concentrate on baseball. He broke the school home run record in back-to-back seasons. As the team MVP in 1983, he led an assault in the school record book for hits, RBI, and round trippers. The team finished with the first winning record in a dozen years, and their 16 wins at the time was the most in school history. Besides his power, John demonstrated some speed with 37 career stolen bases. Steve Carson was his coach during his all-conference years and praised John for his ability to hit for both power and average. He batted .404 in 1983 with a slugging percentage of .754. John remembers 2 incidents from his Blugold career. In his freshman year, the Blugolds were playing lacrosse, a perennial conference power. John was not a regular at this point, and with the Blugolds down a run in the 7th and a runner on base, he was sent up to pinch hit. The pitcher got ahead 0-2, kept throwing him fastballs that John kept fouling off. Finally, he collected with the drive over the fence and left for a home run. And he remembers Coach Glenn Meidel going crazy and having to be restrained from running out in the field and tackling John somewhere around the second base area. And that UWEC team went on to win the Northern Division that year. John also understands what a slump is. It's when you're not hitting and you finally connect on one. But as you're running to first base, watching the ball go just inside the left field foul pole, you plant your foot, slip, and miss touching first. And thinking nobody is watching, you continue around the bases. When you get to the bench, your opponent appeals and you are called out. Now that is a slump. John has been able to continue in the sport he loves. For 9 years, he was with the Chicago White Sox in their marketing department. He has also coached baseball at the club and high school levels in the Menominee Falls area. He is also a highly respected basketball official, working 5 state tournament games and a number of NCAA playoff games. Just 2 years ago, he was honored with the Menominee Falls Friend of Education Award for his volunteer work with youth activities in the village, as well as presentations to high school classes on money management and teaching in the local Junior Achievement Program. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with pleasure that I congratulate and present John Furr as a new inductee into the Blugold Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Somewhere I'm not going to make a couple of my public speaking teachers very proud tonight, but what I have to say is critically important to me, and I know it's being taped, and there are some people that aren't here tonight. I'm a guy who talks from the heart. I'll apologize in advance. This probably won't be 3 minutes, but it won't be more than 8. I've gone to these before, and I've seen some of my coaches take a lot. I won't do that to you. Please stay with me. I'm going to tell a couple of stories, and there's a purpose for my story. In the dictionary, the definition of thank you is an expression of gratitude in response to something done or given. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to recognize and thank many people who played a huge role in putting me in this position to be selected for the Hall of Fame. Words do not do my gratitude and appreciation for your place in my life justice. Please know how special you are to me. I would like to thank, first of all, the cooks, the servers, the cleaners, and all the people responsible for the wonderful food and service that we had this evening. Please know that your professionalism and your pride in a job well done are very evident and enhance this terrific evening. Next, my sincere thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. I am humbled and honored that you found me worthy to be added to the Hall of Fame list that includes names like Stan Dufresne, my high school basketball coach, and Ken Anderson, Link Walker, and Tom Pryor, who all had unbelievable coaching success while I attended UW-EC. A special mention goes out to Tim Peterman. Tim, I have known you for 33 years and I've had the pleasure of working for you at basketball games my senior year. UW-EC could not have a finer gentleman that represents character, integrity, passion for his profession, and pride in a job well done. While I realize you are a Hall of Fame member, it is my belief your time spent at McPhee over the years, and I drove by today and it's not there, warrants the drive leading into the facility named Peterman Drive. Thank you for the manner in which you represent our university and your tremendous work over the years. To my fellow inductees, congratulations. What a great class. Scott, Sarah, and Shelley, your achievements as student athletes and your accomplishments since leaving UW-EC are awesome. Craig, as I told you today, I'm both happy and sad that you're being inducted tonight, and let me explain. Several years ago, I asked Tim if he'd be kind enough to send me some statistics from the baseball program, and I kept reviewing the list thinking that I'd done fairly well, but I'd see a category and it'd say Gillick, and I'd go to another category and it'd say Gillick, and another category and it'd say Gillick. And when I got the call from Tim, obviously I was excited, but I was hopeful that he would be included based upon his outstanding career, and I'm very pleased that you're entering the class with me this evening. I'm sad because my numbers pale in comparison to yours. I think we would have loved hurting the baseball together. To Bob and Jim, words can't describe how pleased I am to be entering the Hall of Fame with you. We attended UW-EC at the same time, and I was able to witness firsthand your tremendous athletic skills. Both the swimming and basketball programs were the envy of our conference, and there were many of us who thought Hall of Famers Hins, Morgan, Merton, Carr, and Coonan could have competed with the UW basketball program at that time. Congratulations on your induction this evening. Okay, I'll talk fast. Born in the town of Belleville, population 800, Ernie and Judy Furr. Probably around 5, I began my role as a bat boy on my dad's home talent team. My passion for baseball began. Countless days were spent, and I wish kids would do this nowadays, down at the old community park, getting on our bikes with a bat and a glove and going down and playing baseball until Mom and Dad said it was time to come home. We don't see that anymore. At 14 years of age, my dad moved us to Janesville. Shortly on my arrival, I met a scrawny kid familiar to Eau Claire by the name of Ross Kingsley, who had a nice basketball and baseball career up here and was drafted by the Atlanta Braves. Ross's dad, Mr. Kingsley, was the baseball coach in our Babe Ruth program in Janesville, and as I was an unknown quantity, I was drafted by Mr. Kingsley, even though his team was always the best. He taught me the game right. Fundamentals, hustle on and off the field, team first, second, and last, never about the individual. At 15 years of age, under Coach Kingsley's guidance, we won the state Babe Ruth Championship and represented Wisconsin in the Midwest Regional and Western Michigan. At 16, we won the Senior State Babe Ruth Championship and represented Wisconsin in the Midwest Regional in Bloomington, Indiana. There is a purpose for this. Please stay with me. At age 17, I began my career as a varsity baseball player at Janesville Craig under Coach Suter. And Coach Suter, if you see this someday, I love you and I thank you. Again, I played for a coach that stressed the importance of fundamentals, catching the ball with two hands, hustle, pride in your uniform, and team, team, team. We won the Big 8 Conference as juniors, and our senior year won the conference championship and advanced to the state semifinals at Wausau, where we were beaten by some school called Eau Claire Memorial. It was during this time when I was 15 or 16, our baseball team traveled to Eau Claire and played at a beautiful field called Carson Park. As soon as we drove into the park and I saw the field, I knew I wanted to attend a college at UW-Eau Claire. The letters I received from Coach Walker regarding the Eau Claire football program only strengthened my desire to want to be a Blugold. I take no pride in the story I'm about to tell, and I don't even know if my kids know this, but there was a purpose to try and share my success with you. I hope that what I have to say will impact some of the students and the young adults in this audience and those of you who I respect that have chosen teaching as your profession. I shared with you my baseball success so you would understand the love and passion I had for the game of baseball. My freshman year, I carried 15 credits here at UW-EC, and I hear Shelley made a comment, someone else, I think it was the gentleman that's not here tonight, about the struggles as a freshman being away from home for the first time and focusing on academics. I carried 15 credits that included a 4-credit calculus class with Dr. Gerald Yan. My first time away from home, a college freshman who could do as he pleases, let's just say I didn't apply myself to my studies as well as I should. While home for Christmas break, I received my report card, which showed an F in calculus. It wasn't the grade so much that upset me, but the fact I would be ineligible to play baseball. As soon as I got back to campus, I went to see Dr. Yan, and with tears streaming down my face, told him the F made me ineligible to play baseball, and I just had to play baseball. I pleaded with him to give me a D-, and I would retake his class, but it would allow me to retain my eligibility. Mr. Yan looked at me, and I will never forget what he said to me. John, you earned an F, and you are going to get an F. One of the greatest things that ever happened to me in my life. He was right. I did earn an F. It was my fault and no one else's, and I needed to accept responsibility. I sat out a season of baseball and missed it tremendously. It helped motivate me to work both on the field and in the classroom so it never happened again. I called Dr. Yan several years ago, and I thanked him for the life lesson he taught me that day. And one of my proudest moments as a student athlete at UW-EC was making the Conference Scholastic Honor Roll as a senior. I invited Dr. Yan here tonight. He couldn't be here. But to you teachers out there, don't let kids slide by. He didn't let me slide by, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. There are 3 men principally responsible for providing me with the tools to be a good baseball player: my father, Coach Kingsley, and Coach Suter. It's not ironic, my dad is in the Blanchardville Hall of Fame, Coach Kingsley is in the Janesville Hall of Fame, and Coach Suter, for those of you that don't know him down in southern Wisconsin, is not only in the Janesville Hall of Fame, but also the Wisconsin Coaches Football, Basketball, and Baseball Hall of Fame. I owe them so much, not only for the baseball they taught, but I've heard some other people say as well, the life lessons. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I would also not be here this evening if not for outstanding teammates. To my knowledge, it is difficult to score a run unless someone is driving you in, and difficult to get RBIs with no one on base. But my time here at EC was more than just wins and losses on the baseball field. We had a great time playing together. I think we've heard that consistently up here tonight, and developed friendships that remain to this day. I'm very blessed to have you as former teammates, but more so to be able to call you friends. My mom and dad, you were 19 years old when you had me. You worked hard to put a roof over our head, food on the table, and a bat and glove in my hand. You traveled everywhere to support me. Mom, you always made sure my uniform was clean. You also kept quiet in the stands because for some reason where people were yelling at me and I was up to bat, your voice was the only voice I heard. Dad, we have had us some times, from officiating the girls' Division I state championship to umpiring an old-timers game at Comiskey Park, and you throwing Bo Jackson out of a celebrity softball game. Bo asked for it. He came out running and said, throw me out. He was playing to the crowd. I know I've let you both down at times. The F in calculus comes to mind. But I want you to know how proud I am of how hard you work to provide for me and my brothers and sisters. I am so thankful you're able to share in this evening, because for a lot of people, their parents aren't still here. And I hope that I have made you proud. I love you both very much. To my sons, Ryan and Michael, I shared the F in calculus story this evening with a hope you will remember it is not how you start, but how you finish. Please remember, I don't expect you to be the best at what you do. I expect you to be the best you can be with the gifts that God has given you. I am so proud of you and look forward to the many successes I know you will have in life. I love you both very much. To my brother Jeff, thanks for coming tonight, pal. You will note in my bio I have dedicated most of my volunteer activities to programs that benefit children. A quote given to me, children are a message to a time we will never see. Has always served as motivation to be involved in youth programs. A second quote, service is our rent for time spent on earth. Serves as a reminder that while I may not always be able to support youth programs monetarily, I can always support them with my time and my talents. To my wife, Sherry, 21 years of marriage. If our marriage were a baseball game, I would say we've gone through some visits to the mound, we've missed a few signs, struck out a couple times, and experienced a few rain delays. But we are still winning the game and on the same team, and I want you to know, I know, that I'm only up here tonight because of you. I have never met a woman with a greater servant's heart and a gift to make other human beings feel special. It is because of your acceptance of Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior that led to my secure relationship with God. You set the bar in our family with your kindness and generosity and concern for others, and I have simply tried to keep up. My place on this stage this evening is because you caused me to want to be a better person. Thank you. I love you. Okay, Tim, here's the ending. We're going to get this to work. I don't know if any of you have come across this poem called The Dash before, but it's a poem that I live by. I'm a financial advisor, and I, fortunately or unfortunately, meet with people every day whose parents die, whose family members die, they're diagnosed with cancer, they're diagnosed with something where it makes me realize that tomorrow is promised to no one, and we've all heard that before. This is a poem that talks about the dash, and as I conclude, I want to draw your attention to the poem. It represents the day you were born and the day we pass away. Having lost dear friends in their 50s during the last... All right, Tim. There we go. Having lost two dear friends in their 50s during the past year and being a profession where clients or family members are beginning to pass away, this poem reminds me of how I should cherish each day. To the Super 6 winners tonight and scholarships winners, your dash is off to a terrific start. Continue to enhance your dash, make it shine, be a giver of your time and your talents. At 51, I have no idea how much longer my dash will continue. To the Hall of Fame committee, words cannot describe how I feel my dash has been enhanced this evening by my induction into the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire Hall of Fame. It is my hope, I had to say this, I'm sorry. It is my hope one day college baseball will return to UW-EC and other student athletes will be able to consider it for entry into this elite club. As it says here, when your eulogy is being read and your life's actions to rehash, would you be pleased with the things they say about how you spent your dash? To my friends and family, shed no tear at my funeral because my life has been blessed and my dash enhanced by your presence. I thank you for your patience tonight, your attention. God bless you, and may He watch over you as we all travel home this weekend. Thank you.
Great, congratulations. Just a couple notes before we do the formal induction. I want to again thank Bob Bradovich for his time. And I would like to, Jane Larson, could you just raise your hand for a minute? She did a lot of the prep work for us here. Thank you, Jane. And the Hall of Fame Committee, thank you for your time, and you got it right. We have 7 extraordinary individuals up here, so thank you for that selection process. One of my job responsibilities as a director of athletics is to formally induct this group into the Hall of Fame. It's both a humbling experience and a great privilege, so I would ask that all 7 soon-to-be inductees please stand. By the power vested in me by the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, it is indeed a great privilege and honor to formally induct you into the Blugold Hall of Fame Class of 2011. Congratulations. I would also like to ask the Hall of Fame members, Super 6 and award winners, if you could come up front too. Bill would like to take some group photographs of you. For everybody else, thank you again for celebrating this great evening. Feel free to stick around and socialize and have a safe ride home. Thank you once again for supporting this event. Thank you.